Yeah, that's right, we're back at the St Earth mini ramp. And today I'm pretty excited because I'm going to be working on the Fakie Pop Rock. Okay, the Fakie Pop Rock. Let's see what we're talking about. Come up the ramp fakie, bonk the back wheels off the coping, get a little bit of air, land with the board directly on top of the coping, and then rock forwards, back in, clearing those back wheels. Now I've got a bit of a checkered history with the Fakie Pop Rock. I stopped doing it for ages. I really like it, and it is billed as one of those beginner intermediate tricks, but I've never been any good at it. I don't really get that much air and it sort of flops out. I also spend a long time up on the coping before I arrange myself to come back in. To warm up, I'm going to isolate the coming back in bit by doing a few fakie rocks. Okay, I'm feeling a bit warmer now, and that's the fakie rock, feeling quite comfortable. I came off a fakie rock recently, injured myself, and since then I've gone into overkill and I've tried to do as many fakie rocks as possible. So those are feeling pretty comfortable. I remembered that when I bail them, just need to kick the board away because this is a classic for the board following me back down and biting on the Achilles. So next up, I'm going to try doing a little pop by banging the back wheels on the coping, and to do this, I'm going to just lift my front knee up a little bit. Usually what happens is the board doesn't level out that much and I get like 1 centimetre of air. And then I'm just going to see what happens with the coming back in. Okay, managed to get a few micro pops to come back in, and that's pretty much where my fakie pop usually is. There's a variety of issues that I'm encountering. Number one is not getting that much air, and I think that's a combination of not pumping up the ramp to get my body in the air, and number two, not following through by bending the knees to allow the board to come up into the air. Just feels a little bit more secure to keep everything next to that coping. I think my mind wants to go in the air, but my body definitely does not. The next issue I was having was stalling out on the top for ages before I came back in. And I think that's because I'm just hopping up onto the top of the ramp because that feels most safe. One of the main issues I'm finding with coming right up on the top of the ramp is that it's hard to clear those back wheels over the coping. So there were a couple of times where I really clipped those back wheels. So in this next set of attempts, I'm going to try and pump up the ramp a little bit more. I'm going to try and relax and bend my knees to allow the board to pop up into the air. And I'm also going to try and keep my body more inside the ramp, so not coming up on top as much. And that hopefully will eliminate that stall and make it easier to clear those back wheels on the way back in. Okay, I just stumbled on a little trick to stay inside the ramp, and that is as I go up to do the fakie pop, I just sort of rush the back leg at the coping, and that seems to send the board out in front of me, and it helps my body stay inside the ramp. And I'm working out that it's all about timing. As soon as I get that timing right, it seems to float a little bit better. I'm still nowhere near coming back in clean. I keep clipping the back wheels. There were a couple where I landed the board on the coping halfway, and that made life a whole lot easier. I think when I come right out on the top, it's very hard to clear the back wheels all the way over. For this final set of attempts, I'm going to see if I can put everything together and get a half decent Fakie Pop Rock. Okay, we're back at Concrete Waves, and for session 2, I thought I'd have a go in the bowl. Now I'm thinking the concrete coping will provide a bit of extra challenge coming back in as it sticks out a bit more, but it might also be easier to get a little bit more pop because it sticks out a bit more. Okay, I couldn't resist having another quick session back at the mini ramp. I want to see if that pull coping challenge has helped out my pop on the mini ramp. And I also had an idea of trying to do the Fakie Pop Rock the opposite way round. So coming in forwards, bonk off the nose wheels and then come back in rock fakie. So I think I'll warm up with trying that, see how that feels. Okay, managed to get a couple of those opposite way round versions to come back in. If anything, I find that version a little bit easier than the Fakie Pop Rock, but it does require a little bit more commitment, and I found it pretty scary coming back in fakie. I think that little 5-minute session has sowed the seeds of possibility, and I'm going to devote a whole video to that version of coming up and bonking off of those nose wheels. It has given me a few ideas of things I could try for the Fakie Pop Rock, so that is going to be my final mission. Okay, that's it for this video. Made a few fairly clean Fakie Pop Rocks. They're still not quite where I want them to be. There's not enough pop and float. But I think I definitely stumbled on a few little things I wasn't doing before that helps a Fakie Pop Rock feel nice and comfortable. I have to say, this is one of those tricks that when it goes right, I wonder what I've done and why I was making such a meal of it. I think it's all just timing. It's timing of lifting that front leg, rushing that back leg towards the coping, and also a little bit of relaxation seems to help. I found the trick with coming back in smoothly was to try not to get too far on top of the ramp, and that meant that I was already committed to coming back in. To start with, to aid the coming back in, I was sliding my front foot up to the nose as I popped the board. But as I practiced a bit more, I found that when I got the board to land on the coping at just the right angle, that front foot being in the pocket wasn't as critical, and I could actually bring it in quite cleanly with my front foot just over the bolts. In terms of bails, I found it important to run down the transition as quickly as possible so I could see where the board was going. A lot of the time when I was bailing, it was tracking straight back down, and it was looking like it was going to get me in the Achilles, which is not a lot of fun. Also, I was trying not to bail too much because as the board came down, there was a chance it could wonk off into the ditch. And today, everywhere around the mini ramp is pretty muddy. So I got bored of cleaning the wheels off pretty quickly. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit subscribe. I make new videos every week. You can also follow me on Instagram @JohnBishopSkate. As ever, my name's been John Bishop, and I'm a middle-aged guy learning how to skate.